Kirby Smart rips CFP committee after Georgia's 31-17 thrashing of Tennessee. I don't know what they're looking for. Athens, GA. After Georgia's dominant 31-17 victory over Tennessee on Saturday, Bulldogs head coach Kirby Smart had a few choice words for the College Football Playoff (CFP) committee. Smart, whose team entered the game ranked 12th and had been effectively locked out of the playoff race following their loss to Ole Miss, made his frustrations clear. I don't know what they're looking for. I really don't, Smart said post-game. I wish they could really define the criteria. I wish they could do the eyeball test where they come down here and look at the people we're playing against and look at them. You can't see that stuff on a TV. Smart's comments weren't just a response to the rankings but a challenge to the committee's judgment. If the committee had been at Sanford Stadium on Saturday, or if they'd watched the game from the comfort of their couches, they'd have seen a Georgia team that proved it could adjust on the fly. Both mid-season and mid-game, the Bulldogs showed resilience, making adjustments that led to a thorough second-half dismantling of the Vols. They're not in that environment, Smart said, referring to the challenging SEC atmosphere. They're not at Ole Miss, playing against that defense, which is top 5 in the country. They don't know that. They don't understand that. Georgia's win over Tennessee wasn't just about the final score, it was a statement. While the committee had criticized the Bulldogs' offense for inconsistency and turnovers, Georgia put up 453 yards of offense against one of the nation's top defenses, making it clear that they were much more than just a team with defensive prowess. They'll probably look at this week and say we just played against one of the best defenses in the country, and we put up 453 yards. And could have been more. Smart added, it's just the tale of each week, and we're trying to be the cumulative, whole, good quality team, and not be on this emotional roller coaster that's controlled by people in a room somewhere who may not understand football like we do as coaches. Smart's bitterness was understandable. The Bulldogs held the Vols scoreless in the second half and contained Tennessee's offense in a way no other team had managed all season. And despite the loss to Ole Miss, Georgia is still very much in the playoff conversation, with their second-half performance against Tennessee being a perfect reminder of their potential. At 8-2, both Georgia and Tennessee still have a solid shot at making the college football playoff, assuming they continue winning and there are no further slip-ups. The Bulldogs now sit at 6-2 in the SEC, while Tennessee falls to 5-2, with a final game against Vanderbilt on the horizon. The game itself was a wild one. Early on, Georgia punter Brett Thorson was knocked to the ground after a Tennessee player ran into him on a punt attempt, which set the tone for a chaotic first half. Despite the rough start, Georgia rallied and came back to tie the game at 17 by halftime, with Carson Beck leading the offense and connecting with tight end Oscar Delp for 2 touchdowns. The second half, however, was where Georgia truly flexed their muscles. Beck, who had faced heavy criticism in recent weeks, led an 87-yard, 12-play drive in the third quarter, capping it off with a 10-yard touchdown run to give Georgia a 24-17 lead. From there, Tennessee's offense sputtered, going 3 and out on 3 consecutive possessions. Beck finished the game with 347 yards on 25 of 40 passing, including 2 touchdowns, and added another score on the ground. His performance was a redemption of sorts after weeks of scrutiny, and Smart praised his quarterback for handling the pressure. Those guys took a lot of criticism from people, and really unwarranted, in my opinion, Smart said, "'Cause it's funny, when you talk to people that actually know football, they know how hard it is to play in that SEC environment." Georgia's defense was equally dominant, holding Tennessee to just 2 yards on their final drive before forcing a turnover on downs with a fumble from quarterback Nico Iamaleava. The Vols were held scoreless in the second half, and the Bulldogs looked every bit the playoff contenders Smart believes them to be. As for the CFP rankings, it's clear Smart's not expecting much love from the committee, especially with the Bulldogs' loss to Ole Miss still hanging over them. But based on their performance Saturday night, Georgia will likely rise in the next round of rankings, even if it isn't as high as Smart would like. I respect their decision. I respect their opinion. But, it's different in our league, Smart said. He paused for a moment before adding, "So, go Dogs." And with that, the Georgia head coach made his statement, fully aware that his team had just made a statement of their own. The college football playoff race is still wide open. And Georgia is making sure the committee knows they belong in the conversation.